Today we're going to work on equivalent ratios, and as we work through the PowerPoint, I want you to think about the question, how can we use cross multiplication to determine if two ratios are proportional? Now, proportional is a new vocabulary word for you. Proportional means that if we have two equal amounts, then it's going to show that they're proportional. So we're looking to see if two ratios are proportional, which means that if they are equivalent, then they're going to be proportional. As always, I want to start out with our learning objective. I am learning to use cross multiplication to see if ratios are proportional. Now, as you work through this lesson, I'm going to encourage you to take notes so that you can use them on any lesson work that you have. So be sure that you're taking notes as you work through. Okay, so let's look at example 1. Solve for x to see if the ratios are proportional. So you've got 12 laps in 21 minutes is equal to x laps in 7 minutes. The strategy you're going to use here is cross multiplication to find the value of x, and then you're going to insert the x value that you calculate into the equation and determine if they are proportional or not. So go ahead and try it on your own. Pause the video. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to cross multiply. So you're going to do 12 times 7. And then you're going to multiply x times 21. And when you actually write those steps, not really sure again why that colored in. I'm having that problem tonight. It should be x times 21. And you're going to see it written like it is here in step 2. So 21x is equal to 84. What you're going to do at this point, because you're wanting to solve for x, remember the operation 21x means that you're going to be multiplying. So you should be thinking about what inverse operation is taking place here. And the inverse operation of multiplication is division. So you're going to divide both sides by 21 to isolate that x. We want it to be by itself. So we're going to divide both sides by 21. Remember that when you divide one side by a number, you've got to multiply or divide both sides by the same number to keep it equal. So here when we divide 21x by x, we actually end up with just x left. So these cancel out. And we just end up with x. So I'm going to go ahead and write x here. Okay. And then the next step that we're going to take is we're going to divide 84 by 21. So you can go ahead and go to the side and do your division there to get your answer. And if we were to do that division, I'm going to go ahead and do mine up here. Oops. So it's 21 into 84. And we all know that it's going to go 4 times. So 21 times 4 equals 84. So x is going to be equal to 4 here. Now, you're going to want to take that 4 and you're going to want to replace it here where x is. When you do your cross multiplication, you should come up with the same number. So we already know that 12 times 7 is 84. 21 times 4 is also 84. So we can say that these two ratios are proportional. So let's look at example 2. It's going to be the same situation. You're going to use cross multiplication to find the value of x, and then you're going to insert the x value into the original problem, into the original ratio, to determine if you have a proportional ratio or not. So go ahead and pause the video, do your cross multiplication, and insert the x value back into the ratio and do cross multiplication to see if you have a proportional ratios or not. Pause the video now, please. So here we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to cross multiply. So I have 18x and I write that down here as 18x, and then I'm going to have 3 times 24, and 3 times 24 equals 72. So now I have an equation that I can solve. Remember that this means multiplication, so I want to isolate that variable. I want it by itself, so I'm going to divide both sides by 18. And when I do that, I know that I'm going to have just x left here because those two cancel out. So now I just have x. And x is going to be equal to, in this case, 4. So now we're going to replace it into our equation here. So now we have 18 hits at 24 at bats and 3 hits at 4 at bats. So you're going to do your cross multiplication. We already know that 24 times 3 equals 72. And now we also know that 4 times 18 equals 72 as well. So we do have a proportional set of ratios here. Okay, we're going to move on to example 3. I want you to look at the problem you're given. I want you to use cross multiplication again to try to solve it. Pause the video, try it on your own, and then we'll go into our explanation. Okay, this is again one of those problems where we're going to use cross multiplication. So we're going to multiply 16 times x to get 16x. And then we're going to multiply 4 times 12 to get 48. It looks like I left my 16 off here. I'll try that again. It keeps wanting to blot that color out, and I'm not really sure why it does that to me, but that's technology for you. So now I'm going to do 4 times 12, I'm sorry, and 4 times 12 is 48. 16 times x is actually 16x, so let me go ahead and put that 16 back in there. What you're going to do now is you're going to isolate the variable. So to isolate the variable, we use the inverse operation, which is division. And we're going to divide both sides by 16. Remember that when we divide 16x by 16, we're just canceling out our 16, and that just leaves us with x. So at this point, I have just x. And x is going to be equal to 48 divided by 16. And that's going to go 3 times. So if we were to replace the x here with 3, we would do 16 times 3, and 3 times 6 is 18, 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4, so it would give us 48, and we already know that 12 times 4 is 48, so our answer is proportional. Our ratios are proportional, so we're good to go on that particular problem. So now we're going to go back to our lesson objective. Let's look at it one more time. I'm learning to use cross multiplication to see if ratios are proportional. So I want you to take what you've learned from this lesson and do some practice on cross multiplication. And I hope you enjoyed the lesson. Thank you.